One of the most fascinating places in Gippsland is a remote narrow valley tucked away in some very inhospitable country. First called Stringer's Creek after the discovery of gold there in 1862 by a ticket of leave convict from Tasmania, known by the alias of Ned Stringer, the town that briefly grew there, clinging to gold and the sides of the hills, became known as Walhalla. To visit Walhalla nowadays, it's difficult to imagine what it was like over 100 years ago, when, at its peak, the population numbered about 4,500. Over half of these inhabitants lived in the valley, whilst the rest somehow perched in 4 suburbs on the surrounding hilltops. The Long Tunnel mine, which was situated in the town itself, produced most of the 72 tonnes of gold that was won in the district and was worked in 8-hour shifts, 24 hours a day. In its heyday, Walhalla hosted many world-class shows and performers, including the famous Blondin, who walked a tight wire high above the main street. Among the others, there was the Great American Circus, opera companies and a touring company, the Folies Bergère from Paris, who arranged to stage a one-night performance and ended up staying a week. One of the entertainment highlights was on Saturday nights, when a dentist would extract teeth upon a platform in the main street, whilst the crowd took perverse pleasure in the patient's agonies. In 1914, 4 years after a long-planned railway had finally been built, the Long Tunnel mine was closed, and Walhalla's brief history was virtually over. Many of the buildings were sold and transported to other areas, whilst neglect, vandalism and nature destroyed or reclaimed most of what remained of a once flourishing community. It's worth visiting Walhalla to experience what's left of something that once was, but can never be again. By the way, Reuben Cardy was a town crier who was also known as Jack the Bellringer, and he couldn't pass a pub without lubricating his vocal cords. Not surprisingly, he collapsed in the street in April 1885 and died in the town lockup. For some reason, his funeral was held an hour before the appointed time, so there was hardly anyone at the burial, which prompted the local newspaper to comment, "Rattle his bones over the stones, he's only a pauper nobody owns."